This is the one that most of us who know the Bible a little bit probably know. Peter walks on water. And if you're here in Arizona, there are two miracles. There's water. That's a miracle. And then Peter walks on it. And it's recorded in 3 of the Gospels. We'll read it in Matthew 14, 22 through 33. Immediately, he, Jesus, made his disciples get into the boat. Jesus likes boating. I just thought about this. How many of you like boating? Okay, you're like Jesus. That's what I'm telling you. And if your wife is like, don't get a boat, like, I want to be like Jesus, I need a boat. Just something to pray about. The disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side while he dismissed the crowds. And after he had dismissed the crowds, here's what I love. They were willing to listen to him all day preach. I love that. He's like, okay, you can go now. He went up on the mountain by himself to pray, solitude. When evening came, he was there alone, but the boat by this time was a long way from the land, beaten by the waves, for the wind was against them. And in the 4th watch of the night, he came to them, what? Walking on the sea. That's wild. But when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified, and they said, this is Halloween. It is a ghost. And they cried out in fear. How many of you in the middle of the night, if you saw a dude walking on the water, you wouldn't be thinking, yay, it's Jesus, right? But immediately Jesus spoke to them saying, take heart, it is I, do not be afraid. And Peter answered him. I always loved Peter. Peter's always ready to go, even if it's in the wrong direction. That's why we love Peter so much. Peter answered him, Lord, if it is you, he just told him it was him. Command me, I'd like to walk on the water if you would tell me to. Command me to come to you on the water. He said, let's do it, Peter, come to me. So Peter got out of the boat, walked on the water, and came to Jesus. But when he saw the wind, started looking around, realized, ruh-roh, he was afraid. And beginning to sink out, he cried, Lord, save me. There's a good prayer right there. Jesus immediately reached out his hand, took hold of him, saying to him, oh, you have little faith, why did you doubt? And when they got into the boat, the wind ceased, and those in the boat worshiped him, saying, truly, you are the Son of God. Okay, so they're out on the boat again, and what we see here is another storm. It's another storm hits, and they're overwhelmed. Okay, for them, it was a genuine, literal storm. But let me say this, for you and I, we're going to have storms of various sorts and kinds. Some of you, it's a financial storm. Some of you, it's a physical storm. Some of you, it's an emotional storm. Some of you, it's a mental health storm. Some of you, it's a relational storm. Some of you, it's a marital storm. Some of you, it's a parental storm. All of a sudden, you just feel disoriented, anxious, overwhelmed. I don't know how to get through this or get to the other side. That's where they find themselves. What happens then is they get blown off course, right? Suddenly it says that the boat was not where they wanted it to be. I'll just say this, there's going to be times in your life to take this actual historical event and to give it a principle that a storm is going to hit and it's going to blow you off course. All of a sudden you're like, where is our marriage? Well, that's right, because my mom got sick, or our kid went prodigal, or I lost my job, and then all of a sudden our marriage got blown off course. Well, Dad got a new job. He's traveling all the time for work, and the family routine got really disrupted, and we didn't pay enough attention to the kids, and now the kids are walking away, and they're in a little prodigal season, and we've gotten blown off course. So what happens is when storms and surges hit, people get blown off course. How many of you know exactly what this feels like? You're in the middle of it, and you're just trying to work the problem and deal with the crisis and the anxiety and the situation and the need, and you look up, and you're like, okay, we're over here? Like, we've been to church in 6 months. We forgot to pray this year. We haven't had a date night, since, we were in college. Like, what are we doing? Like, we're off course here. I'm not even taking time to talk to the Lord about this. I've just been so busy, frantic, and working and laboring and trying to solve and resolve that where am I here? You kind of get blown off course. And so here's a couple of things that I love. Do they find Jesus, or does Jesus find them? Jesus finds them. There's this big debate. I'll just hit it briefly because I'm on cold medicine. My nose is running. Do we find God or does God find us? God finds us. People are always like, I found God. Was he lost? I mean, or is he, like, did he get turned around? Like, what? If it's up to me to find God, that's not going to go well. I'll be honest with you guys. I can't find a lot of things. My keys, the remote, my phone. They get blown off course, and what Jesus doesn't say is, hey, I'm over here, find me, get to me, work to me. You need to row hard. You're the one that got off course. You need to redirect yourself. Instead, what he says is, I'm coming to you. Friends, I want you to know, it doesn't matter how far you're off course, Jesus comes to you. He comes to you. I love that about Jesus. He doesn't tell us, you need to get to me. What he says is, I'm going to get to you. This is what we celebrate every Christmas, friends, that Jesus is God. He's Emmanuel, God with us. He comes for us. He comes looking for us. What I love about this story as well, the storm is bigger than the men, but Jesus is bigger than the storm. You see that? See, in our life, friends, there's going to be things that are bigger than you. They can't solve the storm. They can't stop the storm. The storm is bigger than them, but Jesus is bigger than the storm. That's the encouragement. So I don't know what your storm is. It may be bigger than you. And that's where they get anxious and overwhelmed and fearful. This is bigger than me. And Jesus is like, I know, but I'm bigger than it. Right? This is why when you invite Jesus into the storm, he's bigger than the storm.
Thanks for joining me. My name is Pastor Mark. I've been teaching the Bible for more than 3 decades and head on constant collisions with woke culture. And I would love to get you more Bible teaching. 2 things you can do. Go ahead and watch the sermon in total and also subscribe to the channel. And I'll just keep sending you Bible teaching and we'll have a lot more fun together.